I'm pleased to be here as well. I work for this organisation, not quite as old as the previous. We were formed in 1975 by a lady called Elizabeth Ward, very well-connected lady in her time. She's just turned 90 last autumn. Her son was a kidney patient, and she went on to set this charity up, and it's done good works really ever since. We're not concerned with clinical scientific research as such. We're more concerned with the patient on the ground. I'm much more concerned with one-to-one, so I'm not very comfortable standing up here, but forgive me for that. We're about to change our name, and I'll explain a bit why. I think the wraparound, we're concerned ourselves with kidney patients and their lives. We really believe that we know and understand that renal disease affects all aspects of the patient's life, their family's lives. It hits them hard financially. Often they can't work because of their conditions, and we're very aware of that. We're changing because over time the regional kidney patient associations have grown up. I mean, Bristol here we've got the BAKPA, and with the BKPA and BACPA, if you like, people are confused. There's a lot of confusion. Even amongst the team at Southmead, they don't know who I work for often. and it's moving with the times. It's a much more zippy, in-your-face logo, really. So that's that. I'm part of the Advocacy service, where I'm one of 8 nationally. In fact, soon to be 9 next week. So we're expanding the whole team, the whole time. I've been in post 5 years coming up. And prior to that, there were 3 advocates covering the whole of the UK. So 5 years ago, we expanded to 8. Half of the team are patients themselves. The rest of us, and I'm going to say that, have a connection in terms of either a carer or a retired nurse or that sort of thing. And that basically spells out what one's role is. At the moment, I should think 80% of my role is concerned with helping people through the benefits system, which is as bad as you've heard. People are transferring, adults particularly, transferring from disability living allowance to personal independence payments, are falling through the net all the time. And we're very aware of that. Other benefits, I mean, it's all so complicated. Universal credits coming on board, and we tend to signpost to citizens' advice for that because it is fairly specialist. The key problems, issues for certainly dialysis and dialysis patients particularly, holiday dialysis away from base as we call it, probably doesn't affect, I don't know how many are actually on hemodialysis in the room. Again, transport for dialysis is a thorny issue that just goes on and on and on. We are currently commissioning an in-depth survey into transport for dialysis patients, and actually are trying to get it into the tariff as very much part of the package of treatment for dialysis, because it's funded by the clinical commissioning groups and therefore not by the trusts. It's chaos. So plenty of that. Conflict resolution, I've put that in. It's rare, but it does happen. People do fall out with their clinical teams for whatever reasons, and we're there to sort of pour oil on troubled waters. Counselling service, that's been recently expanded. We had one, Jackie Fraser's been in post for many years, very experienced. We've now got a second counsellor, telephone counselling, who's available free of charge. We sponsored the transplant games to the tune of £80,000 at the last count. 15 teams were funded by us, and it's something that we very much believe that transplant patients to get out there and be as active as they can. I mean, some of the games are fishing and darts and archery. They're not running hundreds of miles or even cycling hundreds of miles. And young adult activity weekends. Ravenstore, I don't know if anybody here has heard of the weekend in the autumn in Derbyshire, but that's that. A few figures for you. Quite impressive. 1,540 grants awarded to patients to the tune of 500,000 there. And again, we will look at grant applications for almost anything. It's easier to say what we don't fund. That's credit card bills, council tax arrears, and purchasing cars. But I think almost everything else we will look at. So what we're trying to do is make lives easier. We know and understand that life is tough for renal patients, and so we try and take some of the pressure off if we can. And the other thing that we firmly believe in is holidays for renal patients, either dialysis abroad or if you're transplanted, or pre-dialysis. If you're poorly and you can't work, life is tough. We know that. That's another slide I pinched out of our impact report, which the new one, the latest, is due to come out anytime. All available on our website. Quite impressive, and we seed fund key roles, particularly in social work, in trusts, psychology. I mean, in the West Country, I cover the whole of the West Country. I'm based in Taunton, so I'm kind of central. We've got psychology here in Bristol, and we've got a little bit of psychology going on in Exeter and also Dorset, but there are rafts of patients that aren't getting access to specialist renal psychology, and likewise renal social worker. There's actually not one in Bristol anymore, and not one, I believe I'm right in saying, at the Children's Hospital here, which is, for a transplant centre. Certainly again in Plymouth, another transplant centre, no renal psychology or renal social worker. And those are the sorts of areas that we try and plug the gaps and seed fund for maybe 2 or 3 years on the understanding that the trust will then take over the funding. So that's us in a nutshell. My email address is in here. It's correct. I'm spelt with one S on the actual programme, but my email address inside is correct. Most of my work, well, I should think all my work, is one-to-one with patients on whatever issues are bothering them, and I try and help in whatever way I can. And that's me done. Okay.